Thank you, Stan, for joining us and be our guest speaker. And yeah, do you want to take over the presentation?
Yes, thank you, Dominique. And um, I will talk today about Lynx and the company I created a few years ago now, and we'll try to explain to you what we are building, and hopefully you will like what we do, especially for mixed reality, which is what people call today augmented reality, and we call that mixed reality, and I think you will understand why. So just to to start, I hope you can see my screen, but this is a picture of our office in Paris. This is the main office we have. This is where everything is designed and built, and where we are building our hardware prototypes. It's a company that was founded 3 years ago, and we are a team of engineers in electronics, software, ergonomics, mechanics. We have two industrial designers, and we have a bunch of people in software as well, because when you do hardware, you of course also do software. We got some funding in 2019, 2 million euros for to get things going. And just so you know, right now I'm also doing another round of funding. We have some ex-Star VR engineers in the team. Star VR was a virtual reality headset, and what was cool about this headset is that it was a 200 degrees field of view VR headset. So it's pretty cool. The project was not finished due to political reasons, but the device was there, and some of the engineers were French, and they're in my team right now. So yeah, I think we have a pretty solid team, and I think you can judge that by the product we have today. We also have big partners like Qualcomm. Qualcomm, they're designing the chipset of everyone in the planet. And we are doing some work with NVIDIA when you want to do streaming of heavy computational data in the headset over Wi-Fi or 5G. And so right now we are bringing a new product to the market, which is Link version 1. We are already working on version 2. Today it's on paper, but right now we are producing the version 1, and it's very anticipated because I think it's a product that the industry has been waiting for a long time now. So yeah, this is just a quick picture of what we did in the last month. I had the opportunity to present some prototypes to the French presidential team. So this is my little face in front of the French presidential house, which is the equivalent of the White House, but in Paris. And we have very good support in the community. We have very good support in Europe. But nonetheless, I'm going to Silicon Valley in a few days to pitch investors there as well. Those are little pictures you can find on the web that you can find especially on my Twitter accounts. But we take great pride in the product we are building, and those are all pictures of the prototypes of the headset. So what you can notice on the photos is that the headset is pretty slim. We made a very compact form factor for Lynx for many reasons. The first is comfort and weight distribution, and the second one is the parallax of the cameras, and I will explain that later. But I think we have a pretty cool and decent looking headsets, and those are all the headsets you can find on the market today, especially for augmented reality. There are 3 slides of these. So those are on the market or in the graveyard, but this is what you have currently in augmented and mixed reality. So those are the 3 slides. And what you can notice about them when you take a step back and look at all these devices is that they're all very transparent devices, optical see-through devices. With Lynx, we took another approach. You see the reality with the cameras that are in front of the headset, and we reproject this camera feed on the screen in front of your eyes. So let me show you first the video. This is what you see through the lens of Lynx. So what is happening in this video is on the central circular part is what you see through the lens, and on the left you can see the direct view of the peripheral vision of the user. And so that's very interesting because you have like a 90 degrees field of view, center field of, you know, your reality and holograms we can put on top of that. So here we put planets, but you can put any type of content, which is text, 3D objects, interaction layers, really anything. And you're the masters of the pixels that are rendered in the lens. But what's also interesting is on the, you know, on the left, there is like almost a perfect continuity between your peripheral vision and the central part of your vision through Lynx, which means that when you are in augmented reality mode, you can have a very good balance because you get your peripheral field of view. And so you know, we solved all the concerns of the industry regarding safety and all this usage. You don't have the, you know, the tunnel vision of the VR, of the traditional VR headset. It's a, when you're using it in AR, you can remove the foam, you know, the VR pad, and use it like that and have a very open vision. And your central vision is where the holographic stuff will happen. And what you can see as well is that the colors and the opacity of the holograms are very good. They're much better than any other device in the wild, because when you do AR, you know, augmented reality with a transparent device like HoloLens or Magic Leap, you will never have the right colors and you will never have a full opacity. You cannot project black. So I think the technical approach and how we designed the device kind of cracked this, you know, this caveat of the optical see-through architecture. So now let me back to some of the slides I had. Yeah, so this is also, you know, talking about today what UI and UX designer can bring to this market is that the hardware is there. You know, you can touch it. We have prototypes and you have other brands of mixed reality devices, even though they are different, but you have HoloLens, Unreal, HTC products, Lynx. The hardware is there, or almost. But what we are lacking today for mass adoption is the content, and content is king. So you know, you should put your energy, if you want to get into XR, into the, you know, the content creation, and to find the killer app, or, you know, the application that people would want to use and wear a headset to use that. Because today the hardware is still, you know, even if it looks like glasses, it's kind of a brick you put in front of your eyes, and that can be a problem, like a ergonomic problem or a social problem, because you're masking the eyes of the users. But we have to find, you know, as a community, we have to find the content that will bring the users to wear these devices. And another an example I can cite, you know, in the, you know, the compromise of the user wearing a headset but using a very cool application was, you know, Pokemon Go. When Pokemon Go was out, you had to walk around your city or your neighborhood to find Pokemons, and people were ready and accepted to use an external battery and to plug their phone to use it for, you know, hours, using the, you know, GPS and all the heavy computation that Pokemon Go required to do the, you know, to run software. So millions of people accepted the burden, you know, to have an external battery to their phones to use this killer application that Pokemon Go was. So you can see that the content was so powerful that people were, you know, ready to compromise how the device was designed in the first place to accommodate for the content. And we need that for AR and mixed reality. So my work is on the hardware side of things. I'm a software guy, but I'm running a hardware company. And the hardware we are building is trying to bring most of what you want as a content creator in mixed reality. We are doing sick stuff, you know, like slam We are doing hand tracking with Ultralip, which is the state-of-the-art hand tracking in the world. We're doing very high frame rate rendering on the screen and on the cameras. Everything is synchronized. We are using the best chipset for XR, which is the Qualcomm XR2. We have a Unity SDK. It's very easy to create content. We're doing eye tracking as well. So we have eye tracking, hand tracking, wall tracking. We're tracking everything in this device. We're doing very high fidelity rendering in both VR and AR. So I would say that Lynx is a very versatile device, which means that you can buy it and use it for VR, or you can use it for AR, or you want to use it for both. So we have customers that are doing everything you find in extended reality, in XR. It's doable with Lynx. But what's interesting is when you leverage what the device can do and you start, mixing AR and VR, and this is where you're doing true mixed reality. It's where you're mixing like a full environment that is simulated, but you can still see your hands and your real feet and your body, and so you have a better sense of presence in the immersive experience. So this is just one example, but you can imagine all sorts of things. And we can't wait to see what you're building with that. We will provide links with some demos and some application that you can run with the SDK right out of the box. But we're waiting also for content creator to help us. And we have amazing partners like gaming companies or just enterprise software companies that are doing things that might be boring but are critical for some jobs. And we can't wait to see that happening later this year. So this is a picture. This is a render of the device, but the device pretty much looks like that. There is no difference with a real prototype. I don't have a prototype at home. I'm at home. It's midnight in Paris right now, Saturday night. But you can find photos on my LinkedIn or on Twitter, and we'll post more in the coming weeks. Yeah. All right. Okay. So as I said, there are two technologies to do augmented or mixed reality. So there is the optical see-through approach, where you want to do a pair of glasses or something transparent that you see, that you put in front of your eyes. And so this is where you find the $1 billion spending club, which is Microsoft, Facebook, Google, Apple. They're all spending at least $1 billion a year to try to achieve this device. And it's too complicated, and you will never have, with the technology we have today, we'll never have the perfect colors and the field of view you want to have a very good immersive experience. But you can do some very cool stuff, like I would call them 2.5D application, where you want to show symbology or text in front of the user. There are already amazing devices for that. Google Glass was the first. It's not the best, but it's a pretty good example. So I would say that those devices are very good for 2.5D application. I think this is where they really shine today, but I don't know. A lot of, if augmented reality was just smart people and money, it would have been solved already. This is something that Carl Kutak said lately. He's like an analyst in the field. I think he's right, because all the smart people I know, they're working in XR today, either in hardware or software. And the thing we see today is that it's not possible to achieve what we are seeing in the Iron Man movie. So my point is that we cannot build these glasses easily, but I think we can build the Iron Man headset, the helmet, more easily. And this is the path we've taken the last 3 years. So the other approach is the video see-through, like what we call video see-through, and is when you're doing augmented reality by seeing the live feed of a raw camera, RGB camera that is filming the reality in front of you. And the challenge for that is, of course, the size of the device. You want to have something slim that is looking like a ski mask or even less. for comforts. There is also a challenge with social acceptance, which is the challenge for every device out there. When you're talking to someone else with one of these devices, the user doesn't know, the other person doesn't know if you're seeing them, paying attention to them, or you're just in your immersive experience. So there are things that need to be solved on the design of the devices itself. We found that you don't need to cover the full field of view of the user. You just need to cover, a sweet spot that is between 90 degrees and 120 degrees, maybe. This is where you have your the stereoscopy of the eyes, and where your brain works. Everything above 70 degrees is comfortable enough for the brain to do the depth estimation of what you're seeing and stuff like that. But what we're seeing with users is that they really accept something. They really accept holograms like 3D objects when it's between 120 degrees and 90 degrees field of view, like horizontal field of view, not diagonal. And Lynx version 1 is 90 degrees, and we think it's a sweet spot, but I will let you judge that when you try the device later this year, of course. So this is just a little slide that I like to put, which is, like, thanks Hollywood. Everything is awesome, but everything is useless in what we're seeing in the movies. Like the interfaces, the man-machine interfaces, they're all very shiny and they look very good on a movie theater, on a movie screen, but they don't make any sense in the way we should build interface for mixed reality. What you want is what people in the Air Force have been doing for the last 40 years. The Air Force pilot, they have like this helmet where they already have augmented reality information, and they have that for they have had for probably 20 to 30 years in combat. And what you want, and as a user as well, is you want the right information at the right time. You don't want everything all the time, which is what you see on the picture on the left, which is the Iron Man headset. And that looks really good in the movie, but it's just nowhere near practical. Like, your brain cannot compute all this shiny information, and your brain will just collapse of too much information. And on the right, you have the very famous Minority Report scene, which is cool. I mean, the display technology can be very, very interesting. Like curved, transparent display, that can be cool. But the interaction with the hands, and we are doing a lot of hand tracking with Ultralip, and I can tell you that the interaction that Tom Cruise is using is, very, very tiring to the hands. Every time you put your hand above your shoulder, you're asking too much for the user's muscles. So that was my take on Hollywood representation of augmented reality. So this is just a slide that you can see on replay, but I try to list what you have on the optical see-through devices and on the video see-through devices that we talk during this little talk. So you have the transparent eyeglasses or the ski goggles, and you have all those display technology that you can use to make hardware in this category. You have the combiner, and then you have what you get at the end, which is, can you get hard occlusion? Can you get the peripheral vision? Can you get the accurate colors of what you're trying to show to the user? And of course, can you use it outside? That's also a question that is really hard to answer when you're building an optical see-through device. For example, if you try to walk outside with HoloLens, you will have a hard time HoloLens has a hard time to fight with the brightness of the sun. Like, try to imagine defeating the brightness of the sun, which is a billion nits. It's really hard for optical see-through devices. For video see-through devices, of course, they're operating on the same level as the camera in your smartphone. So when they see the sun, they just change the they change the exposure and they can cancel out the bright pixels. And of course, some devices you can see in the wild. I've been talking about HoloLens, but there is also Magic Leap, which was famous for a lot of things, but not the quality of their devices. And there is also the third eye. So you see the device, the last device, the red one. I think it's really interesting, because they want to. I mean, they're selling that to professional people, to the industry where you have to meet a lot of very difficult criteria like safety, like dust resistance and stuff like that. And if you see how the device is designed, you can see that it's blocking the peripheral vision, like the direct horizontal vision is blocked with this device, just the way, just like Magic Leap. Like when you wear Magic Leap, you have like the two openings, but everything else is blocked. So you're not seeing much of your peripheral vision. So this is really, really difficult, and it is a killer for professional application because you cannot guarantee the safety of the user if they cannot see on the side, like if an obstacle is coming. So you have to take that into account where you're, trying devices and see if it fits your needs, of course. And of course, they're also hard to manufacture because either the waveguide or the diffractive optics they're using, it's hard to manufacture. It can be very, very pricey. And the devices we're building, the Lynx version 1, it's not really expensive. It costs a few $100s to make. Because it's using a lot of the same components that you can find in the smartphone industry, which are cameras and displays that are produced by millions, if not dozens of millions of units per year. So yeah, I think we are going to see much more video see-through devices in the future than we're seeing optical see-through devices today. The challenges we face in XR hardware is the thermal management, the latency pipeline when you're doing when the photon gets onto the camera and where it gets back to the screen, you have to be under 20 milliseconds. And it's really, really hard to achieve. For example, the latency of the camera in your smartphone is not under 100 milliseconds. So, you have to get 5 times better than what a smartphone camera is doing in terms of latency, at least. And then you have to calibrate the devices. For example, the 6DoF algorithm, you have to calibrate every headset before packing it because every headset is a little bit different when you assemble it. And of course, you need a good integration with the developer world, which is, the most important customers is not the final customers, but the developer that is making application on top of the platform. And which is why we've been working with Unity. We also have SDK for native applications, if you want to do OpenGL straight away, but you can use Unity 3D as well. And the integration is pretty neat. I've been able to make some application with Lynx with Unity, and it's really cool. I think developers will embrace the SDK. But yeah, we really need to have like a cross-platform SDK, and I think this is where OpenXR come into play. And I think OpenXR implementation will be done by maybe not this summer, but Q3 when the device is out to customers. So I think a lot of people are going to build on top of OpenXR. So I've been talking very fast, so I'm already at the end of the presentation I have today. But you can find my Twitter account. I put that here because you can. I like to share what the team is doing and what we are building, and we are keeping a lot of things secret, but when we think it's cool to share something with the community, we like to post it here. There we have also a website, and you can see the specification of Lynx and I really thank the enthusiasm of the community towards my company and what we're trying to do, because we have a lot of competition, especially from the very, very powerful players like Facebook, Microsoft, Google, and Apple. So we're trying to be the European underdog, and I think we're doing a good job so far. But yeah, that's it. So thank you very much. And if one of you has any question for today, I'm here for that.
Yeah, yeah, I do have a quick question because those glasses, or I actually tried in the past at Digital Domain. I don't know if you've heard of this company or not. It's actually VR company that makes a lot of like films, Digital Domain. And the thing that I notice about these glasses is I have motion sickness. Like when I'm wearing them to a certain time, I start feeling dizzy. So are you those glasses actually preventing that? Because from my own experiences, I wear them, I kind of have this like motion sickness, like, it doesn't feel too comfortable.
Okay. Yeah, motion sickness and user acceptance is very hard. But I think when you're using the device in augmented reality mode, which is what you're seeing on the screen right now, you won't feel any motion sickness because the latency is pretty good, and also the world alignment should trick your brain into thinking that what you're seeing is like a transparent glass. So I think we did a pretty good job. I didn't feel any motion sickness, and we don't have any complaints so far. So I'm not saying we solved that, but I think we did a pretty good job.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I just questioning that. Thank you.
Thank you.
As I remember you mentioned that right now the most important thing is to create content because the platform is ready. And yeah, do you have any suggestion, like what software you would like to use for content creation? For example, like Unreal or Unity or some other kind of like a software or platform do you recommend?
So I will definitely advise anyone to use Unity today for any XR developments. I think this is becoming an industry standard, and Unity is doing a really good job here. So if you're building with Unity, you can build on any device. All the devices provide a SDK for Unity, but all the devices do not provide a SDK for Unreal. So I would tend to say Unity, and I can also tell you that we are not supporting Unreal at the time.
Oh, I see. Yeah, and as for right now, there are a lot of web AR platform. What do you see about the app format versus the web AR format? Yeah, the VR or yeah.
So I think mobile AR is definitely here to stay, and it's amazing that we can do content creation with HTML and JavaScript. And one of my friends is the developer of the A-Frame framework, which is a great way to do AR application on the web for open source. But I do not think that we are seeing the performance in terms of latency and power consumption that will allow developers to do what they're doing with mobiles today for augmented reality on headsets. So if you want to develop for headsets, you should try to learn to do native application with Unity. But if you want to stay in the mobile world, you can continue to do web content in AR, and I think it will stay very true for marketing applications, like virtual try-on and like makeup try-on, dress try-on, and stuff like that. It's amazing, and we are seeing the same kind of sensors in the phones than in the headsets, but it's just the display that is changing and making the experience much more immersive with headsets. So and the the performance you need for headsets is just on another level from what you need from a smartphone. So yeah, it's not the same. It's definitely not the same.
Yeah. As for that, I mean, like 5G, well, 5G helps the latency of both mobile phone and headset. Yeah, I mean, for me right now, I'm learning Unity and doing my VR app. So yeah, so I mean, the reason why I do it is because I believe in the future, pretty much, I saw the news that Apple is going to launch their AR glass next year. So all the I I kind of think that all the device we will be moving from mobile to headset. So yeah, it's good to start working on more like natural user interface. For example, like head head tracking or iris tracking, gesture, touch control, voice command, or even brain interface, rather than keep working on the 2D visual, the UI UX, because the UX UI in mobile is really different from the UX in VR. In VR, we need to think of 3D space, and also, for example, like I learned from a developer, which there are so many stuff to prevent motion sickness. For example, you need to make a frame. When you do UX UI, for example, when you are moving, actually teleporting, either you do like, for example, fade in, fade out. So, your eyes can kind of see something and kind of block in and then see something, so you won't get motion sickness. Or when you kind of being teleporting, motion, like moving in the kind of like in the movement, it's good to frame because our brain receive that frame better. For example, when you're driving, you see the frame, you feel your brain will tell you you are sitting in a device. So your body and brain and your eyes can be aligned. So there are a lot of different UX UI in VR than in actual phone. Yeah. So yeah, do you have any advice for or somewhere people can learn the UX UI or the design for VR or AR more?
So the first thing you mentioned is 5G, and you will see in the coming years that 5G is definitely going to help content creation and delivery in augmented reality. Um, we're stacking a lot of sensors and processing in Lynx, in mixed reality devices, and 5G in 2 years will help us to have a lot of the processing happening somewhere else and not on the device. So and 5G is a great step for us to have much lighter devices in the future, because all the processing is not needed to be on the head of the user. So you should definitely keep an eye on 5G for that, and the latency definitely helps doing that. We couldn't do that with 4G. For the content, for the UX and UI, I would advise anyone to read the blog and the developer website of Ultraleap. They're doing amazing work.
Oh,
with hand tracking.
can you share the link?
Yeah,
For that?
I can
Thank you.
definitely share the link here. But they have amazing, amazing explanation for manipulating virtual objects and doing some very natural interfaces with hands, which is critical. And this is knowledge which can be lost. It's so new, and there are so few people working on that. If the company close, or we don't have a lot of people working on that, so I'm putting the link in the chat here, but you should definitely try to read that, and you will find great great little tricks and quirks to do some very cool interfaces.
Yeah, because right now I'm learning. I hire a developer to teach me how to do VR development, and now I'm learning trigonometry. Yeah, because I want to create a spaceship, and the problem about spaceship is that there's no traction in the space, right? And I have someone who is using Oculus Quest inside the spaceship. So when you use the device or hand gestures, it's moving parallelly, not only the player, but also the spaceship. So it's a little complicated, and my background is art. So I have to redo the math because math is really important. The reason why I study art is because I'm not good at math. But right now, if I want to do something cool, I need to go back to learn.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry about that. Unity and software like that cannot solve everything, and you don't need a master degree in mathematics, but you definitely need to understand trigonometry and stuff like that to do any kind of 3D today. But that works, for VR and AR. But if you're also making a mobile game, it's good to know trigonometry and some laws of speed, acceleration, and stuff like that.
Cool. Yeah. Anyone want to ask Stan questions related to the AR VR mixed reality? Yeah, actually, my
Yeah.
mom. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Sorry, because when you're talking about the frame, you know how like you got a motion sickness, like you were just mentioned that. I think the part of reasons before that we actually went to digital domain because they try to build this like a VR cinema for like film industry, and it's really difficult to the frame thing because it's actually everything up the air stuff, and also people are sitting, like we try to make those cinemas kind of rounded, it's round, it's basically now like square cinema, it's kind of rounding cinema, and it didn't really work. It's really dizzy for some reasons. I don't know. I never tried the product, I'm sorry, but the product we used to try, like a few of them, are very dizzy. Like maybe for the first 10 minutes it's okay, but like after like 10 minutes, like especially when something start moving really quickly or something, like give you a feeling you're actually part of it or something, you start getting dizzy. And we tried a few of them, just cannot be going away. So that's why my question was like, how you, if your device actually can solve the problem, because that's part of the reasons, the deal has been like a push off, because like, like there's no way they can build a cinema, everybody comes out and start puking, because it's really dizzy.
Yeah. Our device is trying to keep you in the real world, and a VR device is trying to put you somewhere, like in a movie or in a game, and we want to keep you anchored in the real world. And I think that in mixed reality you won't have this dizziness because you will still have your horizon, you will still feel the things around you, but in VR, when you're in another environment, you're not, so your body is not moving, but what you're doing in VR is moving, and so your brain doesn't understand that. He's feeling that you're not moving, but your eyes and your ears tell you, hey, something's happening, I'm moving, I'm playing or doing something. And this is where you become very sick. Like you can become sick in 30 seconds.
Yeah, but the things like when we're trying the VR, we're actually trying a different way. Like with the glass, we actually trying on the one of the motorcycles. Like those like fake one. You can actually kind of like a 40, like a 5D, like a cinema, like give you like also smelling feeling, and the the fan to make your hair blow, and all the feel like you actually ride a motorcycle, and with the VR glasses, even though our motions are wrong with the follow the like the pattern stuff like that, we still kind of feel dizzy. See, that's the one of the my question. Like if your glasses one wear them, if I walking around in the room or something, will not have any problems, right? I will not feel anything that's kind of weird or like dizzy, or I'm just kind of like the brain just now used to that kind of environment. Is that one of the your products actually smooth out all those issues with the human brain and reacting with those glasses, or because that's the actually main question that we had with a few VR and the AR companies when we just try to looking for their products. Yeah.
So I think in VR you will always find users that will feel some dizziness.
Okay.
It depends on the hardware, of course, but what we're doing is kind of a premium headset where the refresh rates, like the speed of the rendering and how we capture the environment is fast enough, so your brain doesn't have the time to tell you, oh, this is not real. The smoothness of the environment and the 3D in front of you should be good enough for your brain to be tricked. And I think we're at that point. And also what is very, very important is the fact that our headset is open on the sides, which means that you have your peripheral vision. And your vision on the sides, is where you're not very good in acuity or in color, but you're very good for movement, and you have a very high refresh rate, because this is where the predators come from. This always on the sides, and there is an expression in English which is to see the tiger behind the bushes, and this is exactly that. Your eyes are looking for motion on the sides. So this is why we kept our headset open, so you can have that vision and that sense of balance back, so you don't feel too much dizzy. So in a way, we're kind of solving that.
Okay. For the manufacturer, are you guys making this in French, like Europe, like you have a manufacturers already made the products, right? Like, are you?
So the production is in Hong Kong, and the other and also in Taiwan.
Okay. Oh, Taiwan and Hong Kong. Okay, that's okay. All right. All right. Thank you. No more question. I just wondered that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions you want to ask Stan? Yeah. Cool. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. So yeah, thank you, Stan, for spending your time. I know this is your midnight, and I really appreciate your time. So yeah, thanks everyone, and the same Stan. And I mean, right now I'm working on kind of like online course, kind of like a platform which is teaching XR. So yeah, I mean, I love to invite a lot of our guest speakers to be the mentors. Yeah, right now I'm preparing the class. Yeah, okay. So I've already launched gamification, because I know gamification is, the whole concept of AR, VR, MR. It's like a game, right? Not just like, you swipe the content. And the next one launch I'm preparing, which is NUI, natural user interface. And later I will do more like AR, VR, MR. And I also want to invite a lot of mentors to join the platform, because what I find out, a lot of people's question in this community is that a lot of people with a lot of different backgrounds, such as, designer, artist, a lot of, people like developers, web developers, they want to jump into XR, but they don't know how. So every questions I heard is like, hey, my background is such and such, and I want to jump into do more AR, VR, MR. How can I, contribute? It seems like there's no university major specific for, XR or, something. So yeah, so I think it's a really good kind of like I'm thinking about how to help more people to join it as a beginner. Yeah. So yeah.
That's great. And if you need any help for that, I can probably give you advice or recommend people to talk to.
Yeah, sure. I will definitely keep in touch with you. Yeah, for all the AR VR education stuff. Yeah, thank you so much. And talk to you later, Stan.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Matt.